Alright, now that we've done some design work, let's go back to writing code. So, in this video we're going to work on registration. We're going to make it so that our app can actually register a person and save their details in Firebase, in our Firebase console. The last thing we did was we made it so that if a person wasn't logged in, when a person landed on the main activity, if they are not logged in, they would go immediately to the start activity. So the first thing I'll do is I'll make a small change to our main activity and I'll explain what it is. We're going to add one single line of code to our onStart method, and that is finish. So in our app, I have it running here. This is the old version, as you can tell, because it still has the action bar. But we're here in the start activity because we weren't logged in. But we can still go back by simply hitting the back button. We can go back to the main activity. And although it's happening for just a second, if you look closely, you can see that main before it again realizes that it's not logged in and takes you right back to the start. Now, this isn't how it should be. You shouldn't allow the user to be able to do this. And to stop them, all you have to do is include this one line of code, finish. What this does is it makes it so that you cannot go back. That's a simplified explanation. All right, that's that. Now let's create the registration. So the first thing we'll need is just a simple button. Of course, we'll design this start activity later, but for now what we can do is we can put a button so that they can go to the registration page. I'm going to change this to relative, and I'm going to remove this text view, and then I'm going to add this button. Can be in the middle for now, why not? Or let's put it down. Let's put it down here. Okay, so there's the register button, and we'll call it register. Change the text for now to, let's say, sign up. Sign up. Okay, that's all we'll do here. And then in the code, this is stuff that you're all very used to. First, I'll make a context variable. And I'll initialize that there. Context is equals to this. Next, I need that button, so private button register. And register is equals to find view by ID r.id.register. And finally, register dot set on click listener, and all we want this button to do is to start an activity which we haven't created yet. So pass in the context and register dot class. Yes, that's it. That is all we need. Okay, so let's create that register. New activity, empty activity. Change this to register. Alright, and let's start with the layout of the activity. So close others. We'll have to rebuild this so that we can actually see what we're working on. Alright, so I'm going to use a text input layout. Text input layout, this one. It's a type of input which you can only use if you have the dependency that we put earlier. Oh, okay, no, I'm going to say Control Z, get rid of that because I do not like to use constraint layout. So first let's change this to relative layout. If you're comfortable with constraint layout, by all means go ahead and use it. Me personally, I choose not to. So there we go. Now, what will we collect in our registration page? The two obvious ones are the username and the password of our user. But then you have other things like email and birth date, etc., which now depends on the application itself. So you can collect as much or as little as you need for the application. For this one that we're making, we can have just email, username, and password will be enough for now. If we need to add more, we can do that later. So one for email, and I'll put the ID as ET email. Something to note, make sure you select this top part and not this bottom part. The thing with text input layouts, in fact, let me add another one so that you can see it properly. I'll put this one right below. As you can see, it brings two items to our component tree. You have the text input layout and then you have the text input edit text. That's because it's made up of those two things. So make sure when you're putting the ID, you do not give it to the edit text instead of the entire text input layout. Alright, so that was for email. This will be for username. Oh, no, not like that. ET username. And finally, one more. And this one will be password. Okay. Okay, next I'm going to go now to the edit texts within and change the hints to the appropriate ones. So this one will be email, username, and password. And then we can get our button. Somewhere in the middle. And this will be register. Text will be sign up. And we can give it some style, some color. So let's go to it in the text and put background tint to be color accent. Let's see how this looks. Okay, and then our text color must change, so we'll do that also from here. Text color, and we'll put that as white. Now you can't just type white, you have to select. Okay, what we'll do instead, come here, view all, text color, and we'll select that. Okay, and now you can easily see it. And that's our layout for our register.